Hello, everyone. It feels a little bit weird being on live this late and just showing my hands, but we are going to make the best of it. So I put out a poll on Twitter to see if people would be interested because I know some of you guys always compliment my nails, and sometimes you guys want to see me do that, and these are easier for me to just sit and do a live with you guys rather than try and film it and edit it. So I figured we'd just go live and chat about whatever comes up. Sorry for the awkward angle. This is about the best I can do with the amount of desk space I have. So we're gonna, if you guys want me to try and shift how I'm positioning my hands, let me know. So most of you guys know, I can't remember what day. It was Friday. It was last Friday. I yanked all of my nails off. They were not ready to come off. So my nail plates are a little bit damaged on some fingernails, and I was going to wait until next week to give them a little bit more breathing time. But last minute plans were made yesterday for this weekend, and I would like to have my nails done for these plans and like what we're going to be doing. So I figured I have to do them anyways. So I put out a poll, and a couple of you guys said you would be interested. So I figured why not go live and we can just chat. And I can tell you guys what I'm using and what process I'm doing. And if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, we can talk about anything. You guys have any questions? Hey, Jean. Hey, Dottie. Hey, Susan. I feel so weird being live this late at night because I know a lot of people are 2 hours ahead of me. So I know it's late here, so I know it's really late for other people, but it is a Friday night at the same time. So I guess I'll do a close-up so you guys can see how messed up really some of my nails are. I wouldn't advise necessarily to do a set on fingernails like this, but you know, I'm going against my better judgment. So what I'm going to do to start off is I'm just going to take a hand file. I'm not going to use my e-file yet, and I'm just going to get some of the bumpiness up off. I'm not going to file my natural nails too much. If these don't last very long, I'm not going to be upset about it. So I just want to have them on really for this weekend. So I'm just going to lightly buff all of my natural nails a little bit just to get any of the extra gel from the last set and kind of smooth out my nails that have ripped in some places. Hey, Kiki Ray. Yeah, I've been doing my live streams on like Friday for my recap has been in the afternoon. And I know that's not the best for everybody, but I've come to realize that a lot of creators that you guys are sub to, and even creators I like to watch, tend to use the evening time because most of them have stuff that they're doing during the day. And I don't really enjoy the idea of like you guys having to pick who you're going to watch. So I try to be sure to keep that in mind as much as possible. So I've been doing more daytime streams. I know it's kind of hard. Doing my own nails is, I don't know how like people who do nail tutorials and nail videos can keep their hands straight up so everybody can see what they're doing. Because it's different doing it to yourself than doing it on another person. I'm right-handed. I am definitely right-handed, and you will see that. You will see the struggles that I have with my non-dominant hand. I mean, it's not terrible. I clearly do all of my own nails, but it's not easy. And I am going to be trying, I'm just getting some alcohol to get the dust off before I start doing my cuticles. I have a couple of things sitting here. I saw a method on, was it YouTube? I don't know. I saw a method on some kind of social media where they painted the nail like a solid color. I'm just going to use black to have a solid base. And then they use glitter and they just tap different colored glitters on the nail. So I might do that. I also grabbed foil and the foil glue. I have a terrible time with foil transfers, so I really doubt this is a method I'm going to do. It just depends on how long it takes me to get my nails on. Sometimes it doesn't take me long at all to get my nails done. Sometimes it does. So this is Sally Hansen's cuticle remover. I just put this on my cuticles. I do not really do a whole lot of cuticle work because I'm afraid I'm going to damage my cuticle. Because if you damage your cuticle, you can end up actually damaging your nail beds permanently. So I really just kind of push them back with the dissolver on, which I'm hoping that that's not shaking you guys too much. And then after this step, I will just take a rounded bit on my electric file on a low speed and just go over everything. I will say, if you're interested in doing your own nails, I recommend it. You can get some pretty inexpensive products to get the job done that are going to be just as long lasting as long as you prep your nail. I have learned over the last 2 years doing my own nails that your nail prep is absolutely everything. Most of the time I do the same nail prep, but the last set that I had, which I had on for like 3 weeks and still wasn't ready to come off, I had really focused on my nail prep. This time, I'm going to do the basic steps, but I'm not going to take as much time because, like I said, if they come off, I'm not going to be super upset about it. You get horrible hangnails if you don't get your nails done. My nail beds are not the best. Being in a really dry environment from used to being in a really humid environment takes a massive toll, even though we've been here for a little bit over a year now. My skin is constantly parched, and I'm not used to having to put lotion on your body. Like, I always used to put lotion on my hands and like my legs, I think like most women do when you shave and stuff like that. But here, I literally have to lotion my entire body. Otherwise, I get itchy and my skin looks dry and it starts to crack. So that's been an interesting experience. I'm pretty good about the skin on my face because I have a pretty solid skincare routine, but my body skin, I've never really had to do that before. Hey, Kazoodles, how are you doing? Hey, Melly Lynn, do I have a spatula wand to help adhere the foil? So I used to have one and it helped, but I promise I think it's me. And I think part of it is the foil glue that I have is the McCart kind, which I know is like a pretty reputable brand, but mine came busted and I think it messed with the bottles. So it doesn't really work. I've tried a number of times and I get extremely frustrated. And when I start to do my nails, if I'm running into too many problems, I just stop and go with something super simple. So I I don't even think I have that. I don't think I have that tool anymore. You do polygel. See, I have polygel, and I tried the last set that I did. I actually was going to try a polygel set, and I got frustrated because I am not good at polygel. So I'm going to use my e-file, so you guys may hear a little bit of buzzing on a pretty low speed, just around to get any of my remaining cuticles that may be hanging on off. And then I'm going to go just do this on every hand, every finger. AliExpress has some pretty, I mean, I know their products are hit and go, but there's like nail channels, nail tech channels that will, you know, do videos of doing hauls from AliExpress, and some of their products seem to work pretty fine. I think, you know, some of them are clearly, you know, cheaper made or made cheaper. There's always the question of what's in the product. And if anything, I think it just becomes a learning curve. And it's kind of like that with anything. I don't do a whole lot of cuticle work. This is pretty much what I always do. Typically, I would prep my actual nails a little bit longer. But because they're slightly damaged right now, I don't want to do too much on them. Would I at some point show you guys how to do dip nails? I mean, I could walk you through the process, but I'm probably not the best one to learn that method from. Every time I have tried to do dip nails, it has been very unsuccessful. I have a whole, well, I don't know, when I did my nail stuff a couple of months ago, I kind of decluttered some stuff, so I don't even know if I have those powders anymore. I had gotten like two different, I got one kit from Models One, and then I got another kit from Walmart. And I've tried both of them a couple of times, and it just doesn't, for some reason, I can get it to layer up, but the second I go in to file it, it's like it didn't totally cure in the middle. Like the activator didn't totally activate the acrylic powder. And it's one of those things that I have continued to try, but it's never been successful. So I found what I do now for my nails works. So I've kind of just stuck with what works for me, but I would imagine it boils down to the product and taking that learning curve. What's interesting to me about nails is most people don't have issues with like learning how to do dip powder. They don't have any problems doing dip powder and like doing dip nails, but they struggle when it comes to like acrylic. I got a set of acrylic stuff, and I had zero problems with acrylic. Of course, I took my time. It took me overall a day and a half to get that nail set done when I did acrylic, but I didn't have any lifting or any issues. Everything worked out just fine. Maybe I overthink like the polygel and the dip stuff, and that's why I end up running into so many errors. You have dip nails? A lot of people do dip nails. I mean, they're very pretty. If you have naturally, like, depending on what look you're going for, my nails naturally do not grow thick. Like, my nails will grow, but they're thin and they break off easily. I've tried to let my natural nail grow and do like acrylic overlays and stuff like that. I just don't like the way that it ends up looking. I don't like my natural nail shape. I think that's part of it. So I have always, when I used to go to like a shop, I would get acrylics. Now that I do my own, I just use full cover gel tips. And you guys will see here in just a minute how that process works. Okay. So that's as much prep as I'm going to do. Like I said, if you do this at home, or you are going to do this at home, definitely look up how to prep your nails in a safe way to ensure that whatever you're doing, whatever extension that you're doing, or whatever product you're doing will be long lasting. It all comes down to your nail prep. You want acrylic so bad it scares you. Yeah, it scared me too, but the brand that I buy a lot of my nail products from had a special going on with like this little trial acrylic set where you got like a white, a clear, and I think a peach tone. And I said, why not? And I bought it before Christmas. And I used it. And I practice picking up the beads of acrylic. I'm just going in with my nail prep, the prepping part, which is really just a dehydrator. It's like acetone and alcohol, just to get any remaining dust off of your finger and around your cuticle. What was I saying? I know I was talking about acrylic. When I got the set, I played with acrylic. Like I played with making the bead. I watched a lot of tutorials on how to get a good bead. And I mean, it wasn't the best set, but it was pretty decent. You know, I wasn't too worried with acrylic. As long as you get a good bead formed and you lay it down, since you can file it down, like I didn't care how bulky and like misshapen it was, because I knew I could file a lot of it off once I was ready for the filing stage. So that's kind of how I took on the acrylic set. And all I did was I just used normal white tips, like French tips, because I really do enjoy the classic just French tip manicure. Call me basic. And that's the kind of tips I got for that. I have other tips for when I've done polygel before. And I actually started doing my own nails with polygel. I did polygel for about 2 or 3 months. And I mean, I got sets out of it. But then once I started to do the full cover tips and I tried to go back to the polygel, there was too much of a learning curve that I did not like the dual forms, and I'm not skilled enough to be able to use the sticker forms. And you guys know, I typically keep my nails pretty short. And I was running into so many issues trying to get the right size and length. I've tried doing a couple of different methods I've seen on YouTube and on TikTok with polygel, and that's what I tried to do before I ended up with my last set. And for me, doing my nails is just like doing my makeup. I find it slightly therapeutic and a little bit of self-care and me time. And when I find myself getting frustrated, I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going to do something that I know is going to work. So I guess I kind of play it safe. So the brand of stuff that I use is from Nail Couture, Max Estrada. There's a lot of other brands that you can get full cover tips from. There's the Apres system. That's pretty pricey, which is why I don't have it. Kira Sky has their own set. I would think maybe even McCart has probably come out with their own full cover set at this point. You can get full cover gel tips off of Wish, Amazon. You don't have to go with a more expensive brand. They're really not that expensive. I will tell you, if you start to look into this method, at least from his brand, the nails are just going to come in a little bag. They'll be separated by size, but they're just going to come in a little bag. You're not going to have this nail holder. I learned that the hard way. Hi, Ice Poseidon. I'm doing good. How are you? There's a couple of different methods with Nail Couture on how to adhere the full cover tips. He has a base gel, and then he also has this press-on gel. I have the base gel from when I first started doing this method, and I much rather prefer this press-on gel over the other stuff. So I'm going to try my best to stay in view of the camera for this next bit, but I can't promise it because problems of doing your own nails, especially these, and if you do polygel, it could be the same. You have to cure the nail to your natural nail. So what I do is once I get the nail placed and in a good position, I will turn the light on, set it to the side. And then once I get my nail placed, I will pick up the lamp and put it in, like hold it in my teeth and flash cure it. I'll do that for one hand. Then I'll put it in my big lamp, which is over to the side, to do the full entire cure. And then I move on to the other hand. So I work one hand at a time. And the part of some of these nails have gotten mixed up. Now, with most full cover tips that you get, part of the process is etching the inside of your full cover tip. This brand, Nail Couture, some of his products come pre-etched, so you don't have to etch the inside of the nail. It's already pre-etched for you, so you just have to put the nail on. So the way that you see if a nail fits, which you would think I would know my sizes by now, I don't. I thought I had them figured out a while ago, figured out I don't. So you want to make sure that the nail goes from each side of the nail, fits sidewall to sidewall on your nail, and doesn't overlap with your cuticle. These thumbnails are just a little bit too big. So I'm going to take my, sorry if this noise bothers people. I'm just going to take my hand file and just file down on the sides just a little bit to get it to where it fits sidewall to sidewall. And you want to make sure if you have to do any resizing of the nails that you make sure all the dust is off if you're wanting them to last a long time. Like if you don't care if your nails fall off in a week and a half, 2 weeks, then, you know, even if you don't do any nail prep, I know because I've done this. I've done no nail prep before and put a set on, and it lasts for about a week and a half, and then I got a little bit of lifting. You agree as far as dual forms? Yeah, I know that they now have come out with like flat dual forms because my nail beds are pretty flat. My natural nail beds are rather, they're not super curved. They're pretty flat. So the dual forms that come that typically come in those packets are like extremely curved, like this way. If I had my nail stuff in here, I would show you guys. Like they have a sharp curve in the actual like nail that ends up forming. I don't like that. I like to have a straight nail because my natural nails are straight. So once I have the nail to where it will fit, you take your adhesion glue, whatever you're using, and what I do is I just paint the inside, which I know this is hard to see because it's clear, but I just paint the inside everywhere where my natural nail and it will meet. And then I scrape off the excess from the brush down at the very bottom. You can kind of see it's a little bit pulled up there. Turn my light on. I'm going to put this in my teeth so I'm not going to be able to talk. And there it is. It's flash cured. It's not 100% cured. I just cure it until there's no bubbles. And this will hold while I do the rest of the hand. And then I stick it into the big lamp just to make sure it is 100% cured before I move on to the next step. So we're going to do that for the rest of these nails. So it's going to be the same process. So if you guys want to talk about something else, or if you think of any questions, by all means, this doesn't have to be all about nails. Yes, I really do enjoy the Glam palette. I've used it quite a bit. Almost every video that I have done the last couple of weeks where I have makeup on, like eyeshadow on, and not just a winged eyeliner, I'm using the Glam palette. Like my live stream today, if you caught that, my weekly recap, I'd used the Glam palette today for that look. So it's about, what, 10 seconds maybe? And sometimes, I mean, that one is a slightly crooked, but not much. I don't super worry usually if my nails are crooked because typically I cut off quite a bit of length for these. This set, I'm actually not going to cut any of the length off, surprisingly. Yeah, it is necessary. Sorry, I missed your question, Linda. It is necessary for this method to have a lamp. However, with most systems, if you are just getting into it and you need all the products and you're getting a system, it will come with a lamp. It'll either come with a lamp like one of these, or it'll come with a full-size lamp like one of these, or a little tabletop tiny one. And I'll say that that one's crooked. That's okay. I can do a little bit of I can do a little bit of shaping on that one. I feel like, oh, you were asking if the full size, I will, once I get these next two nails on, Kiki Ray, I will pull out the full size and the small one and show you the comparison between the two. It really depends on how much versatility you want out of the palette. If you're getting plenty of looks out of the mini, then I would say you don't need the large palette, but I can create a lot more looks with the palette, like the large palette, than the small one. And I'll show what I mean by that once I get this one and my pinky nail on. Hey, Tiny Dancer. I don't know if maybe you could consider doing your nails crafts. I did crafts on my crafting channel earlier today. These gel, it's okay. Ask whatever question you feel you need to ask. Linda, these are full cover gel tip nails. So the nail forms that I'm adhering to my natural nail is technically like gel. Acrylic nails, you have to use the powder and the monomer, which I have an acrylic system, and I've thought about doing another set of acrylics. The problem with that is the monomer has a very, very strong scent, and my husband really does not like the way the monomer makes the house smell. So I should have warned you guys about the noise coming. I know that noise can bother people. It won't last long, I promise. Okay. So for the Glam palette, here's the full size. I've got to find which one's the mini. I think it's this one. Yeah, so here is the mini. We're going to sidetrack to make up for just a second. Here's the mini Glam. I'm having to do this at a weird angle because of how the camera is set up. Here's the mini Glam palette. So you have like a neutral, what shade is this? Yeah, these shades, I don't know if they're even the same shades in the large palette. So you have like a light neutral, then a dark brown, and 3 different shimmers ranging from like a rosy champagne shade to a darker shade to like a darker brownish gold shade. I honestly can only get so many looks out of this. because you only have 2 matte shades, unless I'm pulling from another palette. Here's the full size palette. So in the full size palette, let me move this so I can set it down. In the full size palette, you're getting the same shimmers, or at least very close to the same small shimmers in this top row. I think these are very similar. Like it looks like it's maybe this dark brown and the transition shade, or a mix between transition and crease in the big palette. But with the big palette, you have multiple mattes. You have 5 different mattes. So if you're wanting to go for just like a cool neutral look, you're just going to use these 2. If you're wanting to go for like a warmer look, you can use these 2. You have a lot more shimmers to pick from in different ranges of shimmers. I will say what really drew me to this palette are these 2 silver shimmers, and they are amazing. I'm not a huge wearer of darker shimmers. I will wear them occasionally, but I prefer to go with, because my eyes are a light blue color, I prefer to have lighter shimmery shades on my lids. So I typically gravitate towards shimmers like this one, or these 2, or even this one. I've used all those. You can tell that. I've only dipped into this darker silver one time, and that was to blend the light silver in with my outer corner, which was pretty dark. So you do get a lot more. You have a lot more versatility with this palette. I will say, however, the formula in this larger palette is a little bit different from her other palettes. Her other palettes that are like this. Some of these shades down here can get really, really muddy. I did a look with this when I first got it. My first impressions, it was a live stream. And you will, if you go back and watch that video, you will see how some of the shades kind of get a little bit muddy. And one of the shades was kind of patchy. I mean, I was able to work with it and work around it and still get the look that I wanted. But that is something I will say, because it is a pretty pricey palette, that it's not perfect. Her Love palette and her small like the Sunset palette, I will recommend those to anybody who has the extra money and wants to buy a luxury palette. I don't have any issues with any of those shades being patchy or anything. Acrylic is bad for health reasons. I mean, any of the nail stuff can be bad in excess, like inhaling it. That's why when you go to like a nail salon, they typically wear masks. It's bad to inhale all of that dust. But as long as if you intend to go with acrylics and you're using appropriate protective gear, you shouldn't have any issues with it. Okay, I got this thumb on and I forgot to totally set this hand. So I know it's kind of off of camera, but I'm gonna let that hand bake for 90 seconds so it totally gets cured. You had a young girl back east that used to do your nails and do artwork. Yeah, some nail artists, like professional nail artists, have so much talent. Yeah, the full cover tips come in different lengths. I buy the shortest length possible, and I'm a small person. I'm a petite person. Yes, I'm overweight. I'm not saying that, but as far as like my body frame and everything, I'm only 5 foot. So I have very small hands. My hands are like the size of child hands, as well as my wrists. There's a reason I don't wear anything other than my Apple Watch, because any bracelet, it has to be sized specifically for my wrist. So I prefer to have the short nails because they're still almost too long. Like these are the shortest nails that this brand sells, or maybe he's come out with a shorter nail since, and it's still pretty long for me. I usually cut this in half, with me kind of going a little bit out of my comfort zone and trying different styles and doing different things with my nails rather than just painting them. I've been leaving, like with my last set, I've been leaving them a little bit longer each time. With the last set, I did not do any taking off of the length. I only just lightly filed the top, and that's what I'm going to do with these. And I thought it was going to be more difficult to manage. Near the end, it did get a little bit difficult for me to do some things. And then what I did was I just filed them down quite a bit, and then I ended up peeling them off. Yeah, you're supposed to soak them off. I will say for me, I kind of wear my nails down until they're coming off on their own. And if I have any stubborn ones, I will soak them. But for the most part, I wear them until they fall off on their own. Once about 4 nails fall off, then they're all really kind of ready to come off. But if you want to do, if like you smash your finger or something like that, or one just didn't adhere properly and you're kind of done with them, you need to soak these off. I guess you technically could file down, but these are so thin that I would be afraid if you file too much on these, you're going to file into your natural nail. Sorry if you guys can hear my phone vibrating. You're shorter than me. There's not many people who are shorter than me. I do know some people. I've said before, my husband's half Filipino, and his mom's quite a bit shorter than I am. Where can you get one of these kits? It depends on, I mean, you can go to Kiera Sky. They have kits. You can go to the brand that I use, which is Max Estrada, enailcouture.com. He has different kits. I'm pretty sure Young Nails has kits. I would be surprised if McCart doesn't have full cover tips. Apres has tips, APRESE. I will say Apres tip system is pretty pricey. It's like $150. That's why I've never tried that one. It's kind of hard for me to bite the bullet and pay that much for a nail system. You're funny. You need to take class notes. I mean, this isn't my only nail video. I mean, I think this is the second time I've done my nails live before, but this one and my other nail live, and I've done like 1 or 2 videos of doing nails as well. So if you ever need something for reference, you just kind of have to go perusing. Not that I would say I'm necessarily the best one for tips and tricks. There's definitely a lot of channels who are like nail channels where all they do is nails, and some of them are even professionals in the field. All right, so now what I'm going to do now that they're all on the right hand, I'm going to close this, and I'm going to cure this hand for the 90 seconds before we move to the next step. Your husband's Scandinavian, so he's a tower. You're only 8 months into doing nails and didn't know about silk off bases, so you filed off the first 3 sets and oh no. I'm so sorry, Melly Lynn. Oh, that stinks. Yeah, all of his products are made to be soaked off. So that's a positive. I'm pretty sure most are. Polygel is a whole different beast though. And depending on where you're purchasing your polygel and your supplies, you never really, especially if you get that stuff off of Wish, you're taking a gamble as to what's in it. And you can only hope that the brands are being truthful. But when I will go ahead and say, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to file the sides to make sure they align with my natural nail beds, and then just a little bit on the top. I remember when I did my first, it's not a strong enough grit. I remember when I did my first polygel kit, the same thing kind of happened to me. I knew you could soak polygel off, but what I had been seeing other nail creators that I was watching do when they were changing their polygel sets was they were just using their e-file and shaving it down, and then it just magically moved to the next part. But I have pretty sensitive nail beds, so once I started filing down quite a bit, I was getting burning on my nail plate, so I just stopped and I soaked them in acetone. But I almost made like the same thing. And I will say I have damaged my nail beds before using the e-file. I mean, technically, yeah, you can get them easily from Amazon and stuff like that. Really, you should be trained on how to use that kind of tool, or at least watch several tutorials on how to use an e-file, because you really can mess up your fingernails, and depending on how much damage you cause, it could be permanently. So this nail is the one that is a little bit crooked, so I'm just going to file a little bit extra on the side to help even out a little bit. It's probably always going to appear a little crooked. So in my videos coming up, you guys will know that's her crooked one. Can be an inside joke. Are there specific No, there's not specific sizes. What ends up happening when you have small hands like I do is you're often going to have to be using the smaller size nails, and most of the time there's going to be plenty for you to do several different sets, but you're going to run out of nails and you're just going to have to reorder another set. But all of the nail brands that I have gotten full cover tips from, because I've tried Kiara Sky before. I have that nail set. I just don't like, I got it in almond and I don't like almond shape. I don't think they had it in small. I think they only had the medium length available. I haven't tried the Kiara Sky set again. Maybe I should give it another go. I just am one of those people, once I find a method and a system that works for me, it's kind of hard for me to venture out of that. Man, I got that ring finger all crooked too. Something with my ring fingers. Usually I get my pointer fingers crooked, not my ring finger, but I'm going to just do the same thing I did on that other one and just file it a little bit more on the side that makes it crooked. That way, once it's polished, it won't be as noticeable. Depending on where you go, Linda, what site you go to, some of the if you're looking to do like this kind of system, some of the pre-made tips are already shaped. I know with Max Estrada's brand, and I know more about his brand because that's the brand that I shop. He has. I'll pull up his website once I get this next part done. So what I'm going to be doing now is just taking a softer, it's like a foamy style nail file. I like to do this so I don't cut myself because I'm not, as you guys can tell, I don't really take a whole lot of time to get this through. This is the longest part, is getting the nails on. The next part, if I wasn't talking, wouldn't take but like 10 or 15 minutes. But you have to, before you put gel polish on these, you have to buff them and remove the shine. So I like to use one of these so I don't end up cutting into my skin. So you just go over your entire nail and you just buff up the surface. Hey, Sierra, how are you? But once I get the nails buffed, I will pull up his website and kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. And like the Kiara, like I said, the Kiara Sky set that I got, it was the very first set I got before I was introduced to this brand. Those are pre-shaped almond. I can go grab those too. It's not like I can't step out of the room for just a second. But once I get all of the nail pretty much roughed up, I will take my e-file and a medium coarse. I don't use I use a ceramic bit, which if you start doing this, do not get ceramic bits until you're comfortable with your e-file, because these can eat your fingers up. This one is got a safety feature with the tip not having any grooves in it. I will take that around my cuticles just to get up any of the overflow from the gel, because it does seep out sometimes. So I will just go around that. It also keeps any bits that have seeped out. It will, if you don't clean it up, it can cause lifting. And that polygel does the same thing. When polygel squeezes out, once you have it cured, if you don't wipe it off before it's cured, once it's cured, you have to clean up your cuticle area, because that's where you'll get peeling, and that's when your nails won't last. Four and a half hours of drawing. That's insane. I don't blame you for being tired. Today was pretty busy for me. I mean, which is surprising that I'm on a live late at night. But I had quite a bit going on today. I'm doing 2 orders that I got. Been working on those. Doing my live stream earlier. It's been a busy week. It's not been the best week, but it's been a busy week. My channel wouldn't reflect that, but 'tis life. Hey, Xylee. Good night. I appreciate you stopping in. Do I want to do pedicures? Absolutely not. I hate feet. Even my own feet. I rarely even paint my toes. I'm someone who typically wears Converse anyways. I will wear flip-flops like around the house, and I will wear them out in public, but I'm not, when it comes to shoes, I'm not really a girly girl. I don't wear cute shoes. I can't walk in heels. I'm the kind of person that even in my Converse, I trip over my feet. Even if I don't have shoes on, I trip over my feet. So I don't wear like heels. I find them beautiful, and like I enjoy wearing them when I get to dress up for events and stuff. But as far as like opting to wear them, I don't. I only own like 1 or 2 pairs of heels. And I own a pair of Vans and 2 different pairs of Converse and a pair of flip-flops. And then I have like 2 or 3 different set of tennis shoes and my hiking boots, because we go hiking. That's my shoe repertoire. What do I sell? I have a crafting business where I sell tumblers and resin art, like keychains and just little things. It's a brand new endeavor for me. I'm pulling up Couture's website, and I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see. Share screen. Don't need to share the audio. Okay. So this is his brand or his website. Here he calls them the 1, 2, 3 Go Full Cover Soft Gel Tips. So when you click on this is where I've never gone to his website from my computer. I always do it from my phone. So you can get you have to go to the drop-down menu, and you can get just the nail tips, or you can get, where is it at? His website is different than what it's like on his. So this is just the tips. He must have separated it. There was, he also used to sell it as a whole set where you got the adhesive, the nails that you pick, the little lamp. I think the lamp has changed, but you get a little lamp and you get a couple of different files. Pretty much everything you need to be able to get his system to work. It comes in a whole set. You can see he offers Afterpay if that's something you're interested. Not that I'm advising people to do that. But like, here's one of his newer launches. That is a long sculptured coffin, stiletto, mini almond, which the minis are going to be the length of these. Keep that in mind because these are the mini squares. There's ombre. There's these. I have these in the short, and I mean, if you guys want to see them when I'm done, I can go grab them. Ombre French. I also have a set of the ombre French in the short, the square short. I prefer square shaped nails. I'm not against coffin. I like coffin, but when it comes to stiletto and almond, I'm just too rough I'm too rough on my hands to have anything pointy. Let's see. Let's go to shop. My camera's in the way of me seeing the. So it looks like he's kind of changed from when I last got stuff. Now he's offering an entire kit. So this is what you get in his kit. It's $200, but you get the full size lamp. You get the little thing that I have underneath us, the 2 nail files. That's the little lamp. It's changed. The adhesion, whatever style nail you pick, you get the little nail box, the prep primer and cuticle oil, and then these 2 like bins. And you get to pick what size nails come with your kit. So it looks like he's kind of changed how he has his package deal. It used to be, I think, like $50, but you did not get all of this. So, and he also has, I've used them before on previous sets. He's got some pretty cool different style of nail polishes. And I mean, he has like chromes and glitters. If it's something you're interested in, this is his website. I can copy and paste it and put it in the chat. So you guys will, if you're interested, you can go shop. But I know, like I said, I know Kiara Sky has their own set. My goodness, why is my phone going off? I'll go grab the Kiara Sky nail tip so you guys can see the difference. My legs stuck to the chair. Okay. My husband is playing a video game, and it's like nighttime on the video game. So when I walked out, I thought he had gone to bed. I was kind of thrown off there for a second. So I grabbed, clearly, a couple of different things. So here is, this is what the ombre sport French looks like in square. Which I'll probably, honestly, like the next set I do will probably be these. I really enjoy these. And since I've started to get used to having my nails longer, I would like to have these on and put some gems on them and keep them at their length. Because the last couple of times I have used these ones, I cut down a lot of the length. Here is the Kiara Sky in medium almond. So I will tell you there is a difference in quality here. I'll use one of these. These are also, so this is Kira Skies, and this is Max Estrada's brand. So I'm squeezing, and you see it bends a little bit. I know it's hard to focus. You know, I can kind of bend the end here just a little bit. All right, here's the Kira Sky brand. I can totally bend that without any problem, both ways, which means it's not going to be, it's just flimsier. So you may, if you hit a door extra hard or something like that, you may pop your nail off. When I did wear these, the one time I did, they did not last long. And again, it was one of my first times using full cover tips, so it could have been an error issue. And I've said maybe I will at one point try these again just to see if my opinion of them changes. I just haven't done that. And then I grabbed one of the bags. That's what the Sport French looks like. So I've made myself such a mess. Okay, so now that we are to this point, I am going to put this ceramic bit on. And I operate when I'm using this e-file, I operate on a very, very low setting because these things can be dangerous. And I am by no means a pro. So I just take this around the very edge of where the nail is to help it blend into my natural nail and clean up any of the product that may have seeped out while I was putting the nail extension on. This will reduce peeling. This will reduce nails popping off or getting air bubbles in them. And I don't go all the way around my nail. I really just stick to the cuticle and then like the back end of my cuticle. And then if I do have any seepage up on my side, you guys cannot see what I'm doing, I'm sorry. Up on my sidewall, if I ever see seepage out here, then I will go out there. But for the most part, I just stick right on the edge. Just to blend the nail extension into my natural nail so I don't get lifting. There was a point in time when I really didn't think this step was necessary. Honestly, not that long ago, probably I would say about 2 months ago, I started to do this step, and it's made the entire difference because when my nails start to lift, they typically lift from the back. A lot of that is nail prep and not doing this step here. And I'm very dependent on the safety aspect of this bit where the tip is rounded and won't cut into me, especially when I'm doing my non-dominant hand. Because this is going at a really low rate, it's not likely to cut me, but you never know. And for me, I let the e-file do the work for me. I don't apply any pressure. I just kind of let it go and just coax it with what direction I want it to be in. And with each time doing these kind of nails, the full cover system set, I get better every single time about having less and less seepage. Hey, Totally Clueless, how are you doing? So, before you go on to painting, what needs to happen now is I want to have my nail polish ready and my lamp ready. Is you want to get the dust off of your hands. Otherwise, you will have bubbles in your nail polish. This black that I'm going to use takes 2 to 3 coats. So this is probably going to be pretty boring. And we'll see what I do. Sometimes I do one hand at a time, get one hand totally done before I move on to the next time. Sometimes I do them in between. What I'll probably do is I'll probably just do my right hand with you guys and see where we're at on time, because we've already been here for a while. And this is a gel polish. You can put like normal nail polish over these tips. It's just not recommended. Gel polish will cure to it better and you won't get any chipping. With natural nail polish on a gel surface, you may end up with chipping in your polish. And it kind of peeling apart from the gel tip. So gel polish, if you've never used it, is pretty much, it's self-leveling. And I do not ever have the best application. I try to go back and like clean up my mistakes. But I do my thumb individually. I always do my thumb first and I do it individually. It's sitting under the lamp now. We'll let that cure. When you're using dark colors of gel polish, you want to ensure, or any really opaque gel polish, you really want to be sure that it is fully cured before you put the next layer of nail polish on. Otherwise, it's not going to be a smooth surface. So the e-file, I don't believe it came within that kit. You can get an e-file on Amazon, and that's honestly where I would say to save your money and get an Amazon. I think that one was $35 that I got off of Amazon. But I will say e-files are extremely, extremely dangerous. You do not have to have an e-file to be able to do this stuff. It just makes it easier and it speeds up the process. Feeling a bit rough tonight. Night on the town in only 4 hours. Ironically, I only got like 5 hours of sleep myself, and I have a pretty packed and busy weekend. So the fact that I'm not trying to go to bed right now is kind of makes me question my own judgment. But I really want to have my nails done for this weekend. So I may just sleep in tomorrow for a while. Once I have my base coat on, I do tend to, with my second coat, go a little bit thicker once I have a base coat for it to stick to. I don't know if there's any science to that working better. It's just kind of what I've always done. And there is the second coat. It seems like it is opaque, but it's not. There is a little bit of transparency at the tip. So I will probably do one more coat and then move on to the other fingers. And when I do my other 4 fingers, I typically do 1 or 2 at a time, and I'll try to, I make things harder on myself. I'm not going to do it now because you guys wouldn't see anything. But what I typically do is I will paint one fingernail, stick it in, and then hold my other finger. I'm not trying to flick you guys off, but hold my other fingernail on top of the light and paint that, and then just do that with each finger. It's an interesting process. So what I mean by that, now that this is in view, is like I would paint this finger, and then I'd stick this finger into cure, and then I would paint this finger on top, and then I'd stick it into cure and continue doing that with all of my fingers. And then I just leave them all under the lamp to cure and then do the next coat. I don't think it's any faster. It's just a method that for some reason I did one day and it's just kind of stuck. I hope you get to feeling better, Totally Clueless. I really do. I'm sorry that you've had a rough day. This week has been the last 2 weeks I feel like have been really rough for a lot of people in the community. Hey, Stitching with the Sisterlies, how are you doing? If you don't have an e-file, just regular hand files are fine. Like I have a collection, because sometimes I don't use my e-file. Sometimes I just use these, but because I'm talking so much, since I'm talking so much, I went ahead and used the e-file, but you don't have to. You can use everything with these. There's definitely a learning curve when it comes to the e-file, because you can easily damage your nail beds to where you will always have issues with your nails. You can also hurt yourself and cut yourself if you're not using the e-file correctly. And by that I mean like using the right bit for the right process, using it too high of a speed. Even now, I'm pretty comfortable with my e-file. I've been using it for about a year now. I went a good 8-9 months doing my own nails without one. And I will still sometimes burn. Like I will get the heat feeling in my natural nail. I do have more sensitive nail beds though. When painting the nails, how long is necessary to dry under the lamp? So this lamp, it has a 30, a 60, and a 90-minute timer. I leave it on the 90 minutes because I use this for my resin stuff sometimes. And everything needs to be done in 90 seconds. That's part of the reason. The other part is most of the time when I'm painting nail polish, I am using either a black or a white, which are both super opaque colors and are very finicky when it comes to curing all the way. And the longer you leave it in the lamp between layers, the more likely you're not going to have any issues. I have definitely pulled my hand out of a lamp quicker than I should have and tried to go on with the next layer and ended up like peeling you'll get like a whole bunch of waves and like bunching in your nail polish, and you can't really undo it. You kind of have to soak it off and start over. So it is still slightly, if I had a flashlight, where's my phone? Can I get my light? So you guys, so I don't want to do this because it's always going to look like that, even if it's totally opaque looking. I'm trying to have what I see. So see that, how you can kind of see a little bit of transparency where the tip is, just ever so slight. That's what it looks like in real life. I am okay with that. Could I go in with another layer and potentially get rid of that? Yes, but I'm also going to be putting glitter on over this. So I'm just going to leave it where it's at and move on to the next finger. So it's looking like it takes about 2 to 3 coats. And this process can go a lot quicker for other people. If you're not talking, that's takes away some time. Also, some people will paint all of their nails, put it in, take it out, paint all of their nails. It does not, that process in the past has not worked for me. I've tried that. I always have to do my thumb totally separate when it comes to painting. I can usually get away with doing these other 4 fingers at the same time, which is what I'm going to try to do now. The only issue that I have at times with doing this is because gel polish is self-leveling, it moves around. Until it's cured, it will slightly move. And then I run into having a lot of seepage of it kind of rolling off of my nail and into my cuticles. So you kind of have to hold your nails at a downward angle to prevent that from happening. Even if you just paint your your natural nails with gel polish, that's something that I would, if you're running into issues with it pulling in your cuticle when you're using any kind of nail polish, really, just hold your hand slightly at an angle downwards and you won't get it pulling in your cuticles. It'll just naturally fall with gravity. All right, and then I'm going to just go around and kind of scrape off too much of the pullage. So that's where those are. We're going to go ahead and stick those in. There is a little bit of, I'm not the best at actually painting my nails. Yeah, I don't want you to get hurt either. And that's why I'm saying be careful. I'm not saying not to get an e-file. Do what is best for you. But if you do get one or you plan on getting one, just play with it and learn the settings, learn what the different bits mean and when to use them. Most drill bits, they come with these. I mean, there's a set of them. It's not just this one, but they usually come with these, which are like diamond plated. What is that what they're called? Or diamond dust bits? I know it's not really focusing, but I can't pull my other hand out right now. You really can't hurt yourself too much with these unless you have your e-file on too high. But what most people use are the sanding bits. And if you use the wrong grit or you're going too high or a combination of the both, you can totally burn through your entire nail bed. And that's why I'm just advising to be careful. Look up reviews and ways to use it. And when you're comfortable, use it. I hope you have a good weekend, Sierra. I appreciate that. Have a good night. You could do one hand but mess up when it comes to the left. Yeah, I am not the best when it comes to my left hand, when it comes to painting. That's why I'm going to do my full, I'm going to paint my left hand. I'm going to paint my left hand with you guys and get the design on it. And then we'll see where I'm at with time and how many people are still hanging around. And if it gets too late for people and people are going to bed, I'll probably do my other hand off camera. So it looks like I will need to do one more layer of paint on these two to get them, not that I would really expect them to be any different than the thumb. I'm trying to remember how, in the video I watched, how they adhered the glitter. I think it was literally just with a top coat, and then they sealed it. Okay. So we're going to let that cure. And let's see. I kind of pink, like a disco bally of blue. I really do like this glitter. So essentially they're kind of supposed to somewhat be like galaxy-esque, kind of like my last set. But I don't know how this will turn out. So I'm probably only going to do this on my thumb to make sure I like the way it looks. And if it doesn't turn out where in a way that I like, I probably will just do something different. And I don't know what that'll be. So I may end up just painting this other hand and leaving them black for the rest of the night. These are just makeup wedges. Just walk into our craft room. Yeah, I have glitter in my hair. I have glitter probably underneath my makeup. I think we've talked about this before, Stitching with the Sisterlies on the craft channel, on how glitter gets absolutely everywhere in this room, because this is my office space, crafting space, and filming space. All right, it's the same thing where this coat is, it's still a little bit transparent, but not as obvious. So I think once the glitter is on, it won't be noticeable. Ooh, that is a lot of polish. That's going to take a minute to cure all the way. Darn it. That one's totally opaque because I just put a glob of nail polish on there. Alrighty. You tried, yeah, gel varnish. I'm pretty sure gel varnish is like the same thing as gel polish. It may be a little bit different, like as far as what's in it. It really depends on the brand. Like this is an off brand from Amazon, but all of the colors that I got are extremely opaque. This black is pretty opaque. I tend to work in a little bit thinner layers than probably other people. And that's because I've made the mistake of putting on too thick of layers and it not being able to cure all the way or cure properly. So I work in a little bit thinner layers than I think most people do. So once this cures, I'll open these up. And then what I'm going to do is what I think they did, and I'm not 100% sure. is put a layer of top coat on and not cure it, leave it wet, and dab either a brush. I'm just going to use these sponges. Just dab the sponge into the glitter and then kind of dab it on randomly on the nails and see how they turn out. And if it turns out good, then we'll do all the nails, and then you'll seal it again with another layer of top coat to get a total seal. Okay, these are not cured yet, even though they sat in there for 60 seconds, because these two nails, because they had I did a thicker layer. So I'm going to stick them back into the nail lamp for a second. You couldn't cope with the time. Yeah, I get that. For me, this is relaxing and like time where I just kind of de-stress, really. Stop. I don't really think about anything else. I focus on what I'm doing. Now, if stuff really is going wrong and not working out the way I want it to, then I get frustrated. And I've had those experiences with products. I was talking about that earlier with like polygel and dip powders. I'm also just like doing stuff that I enjoy. I don't have a lot of patience for it not working, if that makes sense. Like my trial and error period when I'm learning something is very short. I pick up on things pretty quickly. So if I'm finding that I'm struggling to pick up on something, I will just go back to what I know. Okay. Although I could have been the lamp not being the best. I mean, it could have been. You never know. You're the same way stitching with the sister. Yeah, I have patience for a lot of things, but there's certain things that I just, for some reason, I can't have the patience for. And that's one of them, especially when I'm trying to just enjoy me time and like relax and kind of unplug. If I start to get frustrated, it takes away from the fact that I'm, trying to be doing something I enjoy. So I'm going to try and make this as thin as possible. This top coat is a pretty thick top coat. So I'm going to try to keep it relatively thin. And then I'm just going to take one of the sponges and just dip her on in and just tap, tappity tap tap. And then I'm going to do the same with these other colors. I'm trying to keep them kind of like lined up against each other. There's that one. I'm going to do this bigger chunk one. Hopefully the sponge actually picks this up. I kind of foresee issues with that. It's kind of ended up a little bit more messy than I would have hoped, but that's okay. I'm going to go in with the blue. I'm just going to fill in the base down here with the blue. All right. From here, I'm going to grab a makeup brush that I don't ever use. Good thing I'm doing this by my makeup. And I'm just going to wipe around my cuticle to make sure that there's not any of the top coat on my cuticle. And I'm going to pop this into the lamp. And then we will seal it with another top coat. I need something to drink, and I don't think I brought one in here with me. Oh, look, a Red Bull. That's exactly what I need to drink. Luckily, there was only one swig in there. All right, let's see. Okay, so that's cured. That's what she's looking like. I'm going to go ahead and top it off. Me drinking Red Bull this late won't do anything. Red Bull does not keep me up. Actually, no energy drink really does. It doesn't have that effect on me. So I want this top coat to be a little bit thicker so my nails are still smooth on the top to touch. I don't want it to be to where if I run my hands through my hair that I feel little snaggies. So it may take a couple of layers. I'm going to just cure this layer, stick it in and cure this layer, and then we'll move on. I like how it looks. I'm kind of debating if I should do every hand with like the diagonal or if like maybe one finger I'll do just the pink. I think that's what I'm going to do. The set's going to be totally wacky. I think one hand I'm going to do, like for each finger, I'll do one individual color. How do you look at what products? What do you mean, Linda? You're talking about the products I'm using, the products that I sell with my business, or products that I've mentioned in the video or in the live? I just need a little bit of clarification so I can give you the appropriate direction. I'm going to move that so I don't tip it on the computer. I'm going to let this sit and dry for the whole 90 seconds because I really want it to cure all the way. And I think what I'm going to do is I think I am just going to do my left hand with you guys, and I will do my right hand probably tomorrow, to be honest with you guys, when I wake up. So it is cured. I do need another layer over it, but I think I'm going to go and do each color on each finger. So now we will put down a little layer of base coat, and I'm going to start with the pink. And this top coat is a little bit, like I said, it's thick, so I will go ahead and do all of these fingers, but I'm going to glitter them individually. I'm going to put the top coat on, glitter it, then I'm going to do the next finger, glitter it, and then I will cure them. You know, this might be easier if I were to just dunk my whole finger into the glitter rather than doing it this way, but oh well. I've already started to make a mess. And this room is already covered in glitter anyways. I don't know what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to go ahead and put a thin layer on this finger. And do the next color, which was like this silver holographic. And then we'll do that for the next two fingers and the next two colors. Then we'll stick it in to cure, and then I will seal them up. I think with what the thumb looks like, it's going to take one more seal on the thumb and then like a total of 2 coats of top coat to have it be a smooth surface, except for maybe this ring finger because this glitter is pretty chunky. This is like, I don't know, I think this is one of the first times, other than my last set which was a little bit abstract. I think this is one of the first times I really have like had my fingers be different colors and different themes in a really long time. Do they make sense? No, not really. Do I care? No, not really. They're sparkly and pretty. I probably kind of am sitting here thinking as I think of all of the glitters I have behind me for my crafting stuff. I kind of wish I had grabbed a different color blue because that blue's like almost a blue purple. It's super dark. It looks fine, but I would prefer to use like a lighter pastel-y blue, and I have a ton of those kinds of glitters, the products I make. Let me grab the link for the shop. That's the link to my shop. If you're interested, no pressure. I totally get it. All right. I'm just going to let this cure. I should probably try to like run a tally on how many times in the day I say cure, because on the crafting channel, we talk about curing a lot. I'm sure it would be more than I would like to know. Bye, Totally Clueless. I hope you have a good day. I'm sorry it's been a pretty, maybe it was helpful that it was a pretty, baseline live where we're not really doing anything too exciting or talking about anything too serious. Okay. I'm sorry, Dion. Clearly, I'm starting to get sleepy. So now we're going to do our first top coat on each. I probably should have used a different top coat for this. I hate that I probably just ruined using this top coat for every set. I have another one of his top coats, which is a little bit thicker and just as durable and shiny. But this is, it's just a thicker viscosity. This one's thinner, and there's really not a whole lot of difference in working with them. This is just the one that I've been going to over the other one. Trying to put a little bit thicker of a coating on. See if maybe that'll save from having to do too many coats of this stuff. All right. I forgot to dust off the glitter in my cuticles. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and cure this, and then we'll see how they feel, and we may need to do another layer. I really don't watch the H3H3 podcast. I have seen some of his content and stuff like that, but his is not a channel that I watch regularly. Did you have a question, or did you see something that you wanted to talk about? Because although I don't watch him regularly, Xylee, who I moderate her channel for her, she keeps up with a lot of the dramas and stuff going on. So sometimes through modding her chats, I kind of know what's going on channels that even I don't watch regularly. Oh, Helia is pregnant. I saw that on Twitter. I did see that they posted on Twitter that his wife is pregnant. I hope I pronounced her name wrong. I hope I pronounced her name right. Sorry, I'm getting tired, so my brain's kind of all over the place when I start to get tired. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that she is pregnant. Congratulations to them. I'm not huge supporters of theirs, but any birth should be any conception, I guess, at this point, I think should be celebrated. All right. Yeah, definitely gonna need another layer on these fingers. So let's do one more pretty. I'm gonna cure my thumb individually again, but I'm gonna try to go in with a pretty heavy hand of this stuff, so I'm not having to do multiple coats of, like, multiple cures. Would like to get one really nice layer on here so we don't have to do another layer and cure it again. Whenever I am getting to what I hope is the last top coat, so usually with most sets it's just the one, I always try to cap the end of my nail. So I always run a thin line of the top coat on the very tip. That way it will help prevent chipping, because I am rough on my hand. So if I bump into anything or scratch anything, or when I'm sanding cups, if I hit my fingers on the sander, it doesn't just peel back all of the paint or any of the detailed work. Emily joined them today. She's been on their channel a couple of times at this point, hasn't she? Yeah, I will get some sleep. As soon as I get these nails completely top coated, I'm going to hop off here. I will have to do this hand in the morning. I do need to get some sleep so I can be able to function tomorrow. You only watch me, Britt, H3, and Emily. Well, I appreciate your support. I'm sure all of those creators appreciate your support. I can only speak for myself. You guess somebody's suing YouTube. Who? Do you know who or what the situation is? I can't necessarily say I'm surprised. It just depends on what the scenario would be on how surprised I am. you watch Radiant Britt and Emily and me. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate you guys watching my content and engaging in my live streams, especially ones that are, I mean, it's almost 11:30 my time, and I know a majority of people are at least an hour, if not two, ahead of me. Some guy named Crowder. Do you know what the situation is on why he's suing YouTube? I'm surprised I haven't seen anybody talk about this. I say that, but I also have been, other than doing my live streams today, I kind of have not been on YouTube much. This is why I kind of think like doing a day in the life of, for me, would be mundane for you guys, because I wake up and I do pretty basic like house chores. If I didn't take a shower the night before, I'll take a shower in the morning. I'll do my chores. I'll take the dogs out. Then I'll do my crafting live. Then from there, if I'm filming a video that day, I film my video. If I need to load the video that day, I do my thumbnail and I edit it if it needs editing. And then other days, it's the same thing, but rather than filming, I go live on this channel. And then on days like today, where Xylee, who has a channel, if you haven't heard of her or checked her out, I would suggest, she's a really genuine, nice creator. She pops off a lot. So if you're somebody who doesn't like people being super expressive, you may not enjoy her content. I find that to be endearing of her and her personality. But she's somebody that I moderate her live chats for. And she had a live stream today. So in between my crafting channel live stream and my main channel live stream, I moderated a chat for her. Then I watched some other creators' live streams today. And then I kind of relaxed for a little bit. And then I put the poll because I wanted to get my nails done. And here I am. Pretty basic, boring day. Bambi, Joanne Cochran, and Suzanne. Are you mean Suzanne Tittemeyer? Yeah, all of those creators, everybody except for maybe H3, I think everybody kind of knows that we have similar subscribers. Even though Emily has a huge following at this point, it tells me in my back end analytics that, you know, any creator in your back end analytics, if other creators' content is promoting yours or your viewers are subscribed to their channels as well as yours and watching the content, it shows that you guys' content is recommended on each other's pages. And almost everybody you guys mentioned pops up on there. I actually looked at that the other day, which was interesting. I really don't know how to fully transcribe and understand the analytics. So I really don't go into my analytics hardly ever. I don't remember why I went into my analytics the other day. I think somebody followed me on Twitter and I was shocked by it. And so I went to see like if there was any correlation that maybe would have caused them to become aware of me. Okay, so there's a little bit, there's like one little tiny spot on this nail and on this nail that are a little rough. Oh, I made such a mess with this cuticle and this chunky glitter. These may end up peeling up in a week. So I'm going to do one thin layer just to cover the bumpies on the sides of these nails. Because with my I'm assuming it's kind of like an ADHD thing. When I have my nails done, if there's any parts that are not smooth or that are too pointy, I will just fiddle with constantly. And it's all I'll think about until I can fix it. So like whenever if like this part of my nail was super sharp, I would continue to rub at it until I would go and get a nail file and fix it. It would be all I would be able to focus on. So hopefully, don't feel any rough spots on the other nail. So I'm going to stick this in. Do I do crafting lives every day? Every day on the week, during the week, I typically do. This last week was a little bit different because of personal stuff. But most weeks, I go live just about every day. Some weeks I miss a day or two, but I keep everybody posted on my crafting lives as much as I can remember on my Twitter, because that channel is very small, which is fine. But because it's small, I don't have a community tab. So I always just post on Twitter on my crafting account that I'm going live, and I'll go live. And if I can't go live, I try to notify you guys why. You watch a few others, but you're careful. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys watch whatever you want to watch. I know there's been a lot of like back and forths with creators and stuff like that lately. Never feel that you can't watch another creator because somebody you enjoy has had a bad experience with them. That's not fair. That's not fair to put on anybody. And from what I hear of the creators, none of them want the subscribers to be put in the middle either. I really don't want to go down that rabbit hole. And I have no ill will towards anyone. But I feel like talking about that topic, you really have to be able to sit and be objective. And I think right now, a lot of people involved, subscribers and creators alike, a lot of people involved with that stuff and what's kind of been going on with a lot of channels lately, I don't think that they can be 100% objective. So never feel that you can't watch whoever, like watch whoever you want. It's nobody's business who you support and who you don't support. And if you're ever ganged up on because you support someone else by other subscribers or another creator, that should really make you take a step back and think about why is that behavior okay? I don't think a lot of creators are engaging in that, but from what I have seen, I've been on the outside of a lot of drama lately because I've stayed out of it. I can see everybody's points. I really can. I could play devil's advocate so much with that, which is why I haven't talked about it really, because I'm likely to piss off absolutely everybody, because I think everybody has played into it to some degree. And I think a lot of times it boils down to feelings being hurt or things being said, and it's just being assumed that things are about them when they're not and stuff like that. It boils down to human emotion. And unless you're willing and wanting to be objective about drama and stuff going on in communities, it's like a mute point to try and talk about it, which is why I've just not talked about it. I have nothing against anyone. I think every creator deserves to be successful. I think every creator involved could be successful if they're struggling. So there is a few little bumpies on this side that I didn't feel. I'm going to just mess with it tomorrow. So this is how they have turned out. It's hard for me to get my thumb in there. This nail is a little bit crooked. It's more or less my finger than anything else. I don't know why my finger bends like that. This one is 100% crooked. I got that finger really crooked. I don't really care though. I kind of wish I had just stuck with the same pattern and done them all diagonal rather than all different. But I'm not mad at it. It's a set that I'll leave. It's not like I'm going to go taking it off just to change it. But I do kind of wish I had. I think a lot of that boils down to is I like uniformity, and knowing that these nails are all different kind of bothers me. So I just said I probably won't go and take all of this off and redo it. I can't promise that. Tomorrow I might sit here with some acetone. I'm not a huge fan of I like how shiny these are in person, but I don't like the gaps and stuff going on. So what I will probably do, depending on what time I wake up, just being transparent with you guys, just to have nails for this weekend, I'll probably complete this hand the same way, or I may just do black. And if I have time, I will take this off and just do black, and that's probably it. I might try to add some decals, but there's so many, like there's glitter out here that's all bumpy. I appreciate you guys thinking that they look nice. I think overall it is a good set. It's just not something that I like. And I think it's going to be distracting for me. So I'm probably, if I don't get to it tomorrow before I have to head out for my plans, I will likely do it on Monday. So we'll see though. Maybe I'll just say F it, because I do kind of have that kind of personality. Maybe I'll just say F it and ride this set out. I do not want this set on when I go to Vegas though. So if my, I'm trying to fix how crooked this nail is. If my tips are still on, probably come the end of next week, because I really did not do the best job at getting these on. They don't feel like they're going anywhere. So probably what I'll do is just get acetone and remove the top. I won't soak them all off. I will just wipe it off like you were starting a new set of nail polish. I'll probably look up designs and do this hand totally different and just look like a nail technician who walks around with two different styled hands. But it is almost 11:40 p.m. here. And I have I'm laughing at myself because I know how ridiculous this is going to be. I have such a busy day tomorrow and Sunday that I just know I'm going to be, come Sunday night, I'm going to be utterly exhausted. So, yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying, and then I'm going to hop off here. I appreciate the compliment, Tiffany, and everybody else who are saying that you like how they turned out. You've seen a creator that feels it and gets her community to go after certain people and certain creators. I'm not sure who you're insinuating, Jean. I'm really not. There's so many people who, like, the vagueness of everything, it makes it so easy to just assume who someone else is talking. Like, I could make a couple of different assumptions by who you may be feeling that way about, but I don't know who you actually mean. And I'm not saying that you have to say, please don't take it as I'm saying you have to say. You absolutely do not. I'm just saying, like, everybody makes mistakes and stuff. If it's a continued behavior and it's engaged, like it's ongoing and it's a problematic behavior, people call it out. So if you see a lot of content about one person engaging in continual problematic behavior, then that's one thing. Your pinky always ends up crooked. Yeah, my pinky kind of sticks out a little bit. I have sausage fingers. I really do. My fingers are short and stubby and kind of chunky. That's okay. It doesn't bother me. You like the electric blue? I prefer, I mean, it's pretty. I do like how the sparkle is, but it's just, I like bright colors. Even though I don't wear a lot of bright colors, I prefer brighter colors and pastel colors over darker colors. That's why I was so surprised I liked the last set I did, because it had a black base. I prefer to use a white base because I just like lighter pops of color. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm struggling to come to terms with this set. We'll see how I'm feeling in the morning. Well, I highly doubt I will go live in the morning. I've got way too much stuff I have to do. That's when you stop watching them. Yeah, I understand that. And we all have our own preferences and opinions, and everybody can get offended by certain things or think that some behaviors are okay that other people don't think are okay. I mean, it's a free freaking country. Like, why is YouTube like World War IV all of a sudden, where everybody has to say who you like and why you like them and why you don't like people and voice that you don't like people? Like, what good comes from that? Honestly, like, what good comes from making anybody decide to publicly talk about who they watch and who they like and who they don't like? Like, that's just so weird. It happens everywhere. It's happening a lot with like larger creators, like everything going on with Keemstar and all of them, and Deaf Noodles and Katie Joy consistently. I mean, at what point are we as the viewers going to just say enough is enough and stop? Like, I've stopped engaging with all of that content myself. I don't watch any of them. Does that mean I have any problems with them? No, it just means I don't want to watch their content. Doesn't mean I don't like them anymore. It just means their content and what they're engaging in currently, I don't want to support. So I'm not going to support it. And if it's bad enough, then I'll unsubscribe. And I always go back and revisit people after a little bit of time. And if I see that whatever was concerning to me before is no longer occurring, then I resubscribe and I start watching the content again. I don't know. That's a circular argument. It really is. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. For anybody who watches in the replay, if you got this far in the replay, you are a saint. But I am going to hop off here. I do need to get some sleep. And I don't know. Tomorrow is a busy day at near the end. My morning's not busy, and part of my early afternoon isn't busy. So I may pop on, but chances are I won't. What I will try to do instead is I will try to post on Twitter and Instagram, if I remember, what I end up with. If I keep this hand, if I change this hand, and what this hand ends up being like. I will try my best to do that. No promises, because I'm terrible about cross-platform stuff. But I will do my best, just so you guys know. Otherwise, you will probably see them in a video, because I am likely to film a couple of videos in the car, because I do have a lot of errands and stuff to run tomorrow. So I may do a video while I'm running all that stuff. You don't watch anything that irritates you. I mean, that's the best way to go about it. YouTube is big enough for everyone. Just pop my hands on. I will try to remember. But with that being said, you guys are amazing. You're appreciated. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. If it's nighttime where you are, I hope you have a good night's sleep and that you have good dreams. And if it is the next day and you're watching this on replay, or it's the next day because you're in another part of the country, I hope your Saturday is going phenomenal. I hope everybody in the U.S. who has a long weekend and is able to take a long weekend enjoys time with their family. Oh, stitching with the sisterlies. You just had to say it. I appreciate you. But I will, I'll see you guys later. Sorry, the end of this has been a Mod Podge of random stuff. This is how I get when I'm tired, is I just ramble, and like every thought that I think of, see, like that. I read something and I started to read it. This is when I start to get tired, is when I get rambly. I can get ranty if I'm in a bad mood. And I also just like, when I'm tired, I'm not in a bad mood, but I'm more likely to be in a, oh, well, fuck it mood, meaning I just don't care. Like, I'm not intending to hurt anybody. And usually I can like really calmly and precisely think about how I'm going to word things to ensure like it seems logical and that you guys understand what I'm saying. When I'm in this state, I kind of don't take that extra precaution and I just say whatever I'm thinking. So I hope I didn't offend anybody in this last like 10 minutes, but I'm getting extremely tired. So I am going to hop off here and go to bed, and I will see you guys on Monday. I forgot to put the poll out today. I will try to get the poll out for open discussion on Monday tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, I hope you guys are all going to have a great weekend. And if I am able to pop on, I will. If not, just check my other socials. I will try my best to upload a picture this weekend. Bye, guys.